right, Dairy Goat exhibitors, we have our ring set up and we are ready to begin our show. 5-minute call for our first showmanship class, which will be the FFA Dairy Goat Showman as well as the Junior Dairy Goat Showman together. Please bring your animals ringside. So our judge today is Dallin Brady. He hails from the great state of Idaho. He grew up in a small ag community centered around farming and livestock production. He went through the 4-H and FFA ranks when younger and attributes his personal successes, lifestyle, and career to those two programs. He and his family currently own and operate a club lamb operation in southern Idaho where they utilize AI and ET work to progress the operation, enabled to make sheep that fit the needs of the junior exhibitors and other breeders of today's industry. Dallin attended the livestock and livestock judged at Colby Community College in Northwest Kansas and received an associate's in animal science there. He then transferred to the University of Wyoming and received his bachelor's degree while being a member of the livestock and wool judging team. Currently, Dallin lives in Belfort, South Dakota, and serves as the assistant manager for Center of the Nation Wool.
This is gonna keep bugging you.
That's okay.
Okay, so you said you wanted.
All right, we are ready to begin with our FFA and junior 4-H showmanship. We need Sadie Estavillo, Blair Sanchez, and Cooper Sanchez for the FFA show. And we need Josie Rowe and Zane Edling for the junior showmanship. So as we're waiting for our showman to enter the ring here, we have a few goat jokes. So, how do you stop the goat from charging? You take away his credit card. Yeah. That's what I said. What do you call a goat on a mountain? It's a hillbilly. You'll notice that we have two different age groups in the ring at this time. This is because in dairy goat showmanship, we do a lot of maneuvers, and it's difficult to do in a small class. So we've decided to combine some of our classes today so that the judge can work with these kids in a bigger class. Showmanship isn't only about how the kids are presenting their animals out here, it's also about how they groomed their animals before they came into the ring. On the Dairy Goat Showmanship scorecard, there's 40 points on grooming alone. So these kids have a chance to pick up almost half of the scorecard when they're outside of the ring. It's also about the knowledge of their 4-H projects. So you'll see the judge periodically speaking with the kids, asking them different questions about their animals and about their project.
Well, good morning here from Cheyenne, Wyoming, and it's an honor here. It's an honor to be here and start working through your kids. I think we start the way today in terms of showmanship. We've got 2 age groups out here at once and just evaluated them accordingly, and in no particular order. And in terms of maybe what I've seen out here, I'll just describe them down the line from right to left real quick. Young lady on the far right, I think your goat is dead broke. I think you get that one out in terms of leadability. That one follows you everywhere, and I think that shows me that you've spent time at home in terms of getting that one as docile as it shows today, and I commend you for that. Maybe in terms of when we get that thing set up and where we're at in terms of square feet placement, maybe want to stretch her out just a touch, but in terms of one for me that just gets out and goes and dances with you well on the move, I commend you for that. For me, it shows me you've done your homework. Young man that comes next, I think he's really good in terms of when that goat's stuck. He's got that goat set up, its head and neck comes out of the top of its shoulder, and he's always back off that goat, so no matter where I'm at, I can always have the best vantage point. That goat might not have danced with him as well in terms of getting out and leading and fighting him a little bit, but he didn't get frustrated. Young lady that comes next, I think, does a really good job in terms of knowing where I'm at and having that goat set up and square, but in terms of when I move myself and go on the other side, just step back a shot more and allow me to see down both sides of that goat when I'm standing in front of you. Young man does a really good job for me in terms of having his head and neck of his goat right out of the top of its shoulder, offering a really, really good look, and then just has the confidence and the atmosphere to him that just makes it look so easy and like he's done it just a million times before. With that being said, let's congratulate these kids, and on the right we have the older division, on the left we have the younger. Let's put our hands together and I'll go show you in the order that I like them.
Jude, are you showing your goat in the next showmanship class? You need to bring it to ringside, please. So the winners for our FFA Dairy Goat Show, Cooper Sanchez is the grand champion, and Sadie Estavillo is our reserve champion. Please thank our buckle donors, our buckle sponsors, for the FFA showmanship, Commissioner Gunnar Malm. Thank you for that donation. And then in our junior dairy goat showmanship, our grand champion went to Zane Edling, and our reserve grand champion went to Josie Rowe. And our buckle sponsor for the junior showmanship is Commissioner Linda Heath. Please thank that donation. Thank you. Next in the ring will be our senior showman, Blair Sanchez and Cooper Sanchez, as well as our intermediate dairy goat showmanship, Sarah Rowe, Jude Estavilo, Riley Edling, and Sophie Anderson. In the ring at this time, we have senior showmen as well as intermediate showmen. They're not going to be judged together, but again, to make the class a little more manageable for the judge, we are running these two classes at the same time. I'd like to introduce the Laramie County Fair Ambassadors. We have Charlotte Ellman, Hayden Hubbard, Brendan Nagy, Blair Sanchez, and Emma Balois. You'll see these youth helping out during the whole week of fair. They help with ribbons and they help setting up things, and they're just a real big asset to our fair. So you can see lots of different breeds of dairy goat represented out here in this showmanship ring today. The little white doe at the front of the line, well, in second place now. This is called a Saanen, and they're known for high milk production. The little black doe that's in front of all the animals right now, she's a Nubian, and the Nubians are known for a lot of butter fat in their milk. And then the small brown goat in third place right now, this is called a Nigerian dwarf, and they are very good milkers, and they're also a manageable size. They also have very high butter fat in their milk content. And then behind the little goat is a La Mancha. You'll see that it has very short ears. It began as a mutation and then was bred to be a breed. They're a very docile animal. And then the last doe in line right now is called an Alpine. And these are tall Swiss-type breeds with high milk production and lots of colors.
Bring in the next group of kids here, and I think skill set in terms of showmanship is still very evident for me. Just to tell you guys, if anybody's watching or anybody outside, on the far side over there in the front of the line is an individual in his own division in terms of age group, and then the four back behind him will be in the same. In no particular order here, in terms of the young man on the left side of things, I think he does a really good job in terms of keeping track of where his goat is set up in terms of always being square. You know, he always is watching those goats' feet, and he always wants to make sure they're right where he wants them, which I commend you for that. Maybe lost track of me a time or two and wasn't quite in the best vantage point, but you could tell he takes pride in what he does because he wants to have his goat set up and then he finds me, and I think that's a really good thing. Young lady that comes next, second from left, I think you do really good. You're calm, cool, collected. You come in, you get that thing ready to go, and then you find me and you look at me with a look that almost says, what's next, like you're ready to go on. I think that's an awesome attribute. Congratulations to you. Young lady comes next in the middle line here. I think you do a really good job in terms of having that one set up and square. Maybe didn't quite dance with you well enough today. She didn't want to quite lead a few times, but you didn't lose your cool. I commend you for that. Just keep working and try to work at a pace that goat is giving you the best results. Young lady that comes next, second from right side of the line, I think you do a really good job in terms of where you're placed and knowing where I'm at. Goat maybe moved on you a time or two, and I was watching to see if you'd reach back and set it up. Go ahead, reach back and set that thing up again and make sure it's square, even if I'm standing looking at you. That's just a personal preference for me. Young man on the far side does a really good job of his body position, where he's at, and having a vantage point of his goat that allows me to see everything. With that being said, we'll go ahead and congratulate him in the order that we like him. Young man in his own division on the right, he'll be first and the champion in that deal. And then I'll go show you with the younger group in order how I like them, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Congratulations to all of our showmen. Today in the senior showmanship class, our grand champion is Cooper Sanchez. And then in our intermediate dairy goat showman class, our grand champion is Sophie Anderson. Our reserve champion is Riley Edling. Our third place goes to Sarah Rowe, and fourth place goes to Jude Estavilo. Good job, all of you showmen. Now, as soon as you get your showmanship animals put back into their pens, we are going to begin our senior doe show. These will be the milking senior does. We're going to begin the show with our Swiss doe under 2 years old. That will be Sadie Estavilo. That will be our first class. And on deck will be our Nubian doe, 2 to 4 years old, and that will be Sarah Rowe. Please bring all of your does to the ringside because we do not have very many in each class. While we are getting the animals ready for the senior doe show, we have a Pee-wee showman. We would go ahead and bring our Pee-wee showman into the ring. Looks like we have two Pee-wee showmen coming into the ring. Oh, here comes a third. We have 3 Pee-wee showmen. We encourage everyone to attend the FFA livestock sale at 7 p.m. on Friday at the Wyoming Hereford Ranch, as well as the 4-H livestock sale on Saturday morning, starting at 9 a.m. here at the event center at Archer. Please come out and support our youth and all of their hard work.
Got the peewees out here, you know, and it's always I think it's the most fun to have the conversation with this age group of kids in terms of the answers you get and just the honesty. It's refreshing to know that they show such an interest in the industry, and I think in terms of their future, it's very bright and adventurous. So for the sake of the peewees, let's put our hands together and get a loud round of applause and congratulate them here.
Congratulations to our Pee Wee showmen. You kids did a wonderful job out there. Now we will move into our senior doe show. Our first class is our Swiss doe under 2 years, exhibited by Sadie Estavillo. The doe that Sadie is exhibiting is a Toggenburg type doe. This breed is always this color of gray with the white highlights. They're a Swiss type doe. They have the upright ears, and they're excellent milk production and on the middle of the scale as far as butter fat in their milk.
Just a single entry here in terms of this division in class. I think the young lady brings one that's really intriguing in terms of femininity and refinedness, in terms of the shape of her head and neck, and how much dairy quality in terms of appearance I view in this one today. I think she's still maternal and soft and reads to be a productive doe. And then in terms of udder quality and attachment, I think she's really good in terms of her rear and maybe a little harsher in terms of her forudder attachment, but still one I think that'll have good milk production and be one that will raise some kids for this individual with some success in the future. Let's congratulate this exhibitor on her class winner.
Congratulations, Sadie, with your first place animal. Now into the ring will be our Nubian does, 2 to 4 years old. One entry exhibited by Sarah Rowe. And Sadie, please keep your Toggenburg nearby because she will need to come back into the ring for best senior doe. Sarah is showing a Nubian type doe. They have the long floppy ears. They come in all different colors, and they have good milk production with excellent butterfat content in their milk.
Just another single entry, but I think a good one in her own right. I think one that's feminine, long, and extended. And in terms of udder quality, I see positivity there. For me, maybe in terms of what we've seen so far today, and this one might be a little flatter and plainer in terms of her upper rib and her forerib, and maybe not as big through her hooks and pins. But here's one I think that's high performing, high volume, and high growing. Let's congratulate this exhibitor as she leaves the ring.
Congratulations, Sarah, on your first place Nubian doe. Now into the ring, our recorded grade doe, 2 years and under 4 years, exhibited by Sophie Anderson. We do not need our junior does in the ring at this time. Please. So in the ring at this time are our mini goats. These are 2 Nigerian dwarfs. They're 4 years and over, and at this time they are not in milk, but they could be in milk.
Just a pair of goats here in terms of this class, and I think there's a lot of similarity and quality between the two. For me, the differences are just maybe a little more femininity and refinedness in terms of angles and lines. I think the young lady's goat is just a little more refined in terms of the shape of her neck and head. She's still round-bodied, she's still high-volumed, and she's still got enough capacity in terms of dairiness to go ahead and for me to give her the nod to win. Now, the young man that comes next here is one that is probably more opened up, is stouter and wider in every regard, but in terms of one that's a little rounder to the shape of their neck and a little straighter in terms of the design and lay to their shoulder for just some flexibility on the go. We need to see just a shot more, but a nice set of dairy goats. Let's congratulate these 2 exhibitors. That's how I saw them today.
Congratulations on your first and second place does. Now into the ring, we need all of our first place winners for each of the breed class. We need Sadie with your Swiss doe, with your Toggenburg. We need Sarah with your Nubian doe. And we need Riley with your mini doe, with your Nigerian dwarf doe. This is our class for our best senior doe in show.
We get all the class winners back out here, and I think quality in class was really good, and I'm very pleased with the 3 we get back out here. In terms of what I'll go with today, I think there's one that maybe just started things off with really, really well, and in terms of type and kind and dairiness and quality and confirmation for me today, there's just an obvious spot to start, and then I think there's a little conversation between the 2, but I think that there's one just in terms of productivity and stage of the game and where they're at today just makes most sense. We're going to go ahead and champion will go to the young lady on the far right. Reserve will be the goat in the middle. Congratulations, a very good set of goats today.
Congratulations, Sadie, for your grand champion senior doe in show, and not Riley, sorry. Sarah for your reserve champion best doe in show. Now we will move on to our best udder competition. And for this class, we let the kids decide which animal they want to bring in out of their own herd, which is their best animal. And Sarah Rowe has 1 entry, and Sadie Estavilo has an entry as well. Go ahead and bring your animals for best udder. So in the best udder class, it is only based on the animal's udder. So we're not looking at the conformation of her body anymore. Some of the things that the judge is looking for is capacity, as well as attachment, ease of milking, which means a proper diameter and placement of the teats. These are some of the qualities that we look for in the mammary system of the dairy goat.
Got a pair of goats back out here for the best uddered class, and we've seen both of these already. But I think in terms of just what I see in terms of udder attachment being smoother and higher and tighter, suspensory ligaments and lines in terms of udders being stronger, and in terms of maybe some teat placement and length and just some overall quality in terms of volume and size, for me there's just one that I just keep going back to. Young lady on the far right, you'll be the best uddered goat here today.
Congratulations, Sadie, on your best udder in show with your Toggenburg doe. Now we will move on to our quick draw milking competition. So we'll take a few minutes to let the exhibitors move their milk stands into the show ring, please, and bring a milk bucket as well. So for the audience, this quick draw milk competition is to see which of these exhibitors can milk the quickest. So we'll give them 30 seconds to milk as much out of their animals as they can, and the judge is going to time that 30 seconds for us. And then we have a scale up here at the table, and we will weigh how much milk each of the exhibitors is able to extract within the time limit. So further rules of this competition are the kids can have help, have a parent help them get the animal on the stand and restrain them if they need to, but they have to do all of the milking themselves. Our competitors are Sarah and Riley. So if you will listen to the judge, he will give you the nod for the go-ahead, and he will also signal the stop. Have a round of applause for our milkers. Sarah was able to milk 1 pound and 3 ounces from her doe in 30 seconds. And Sadie was able to milk 15 ounces out of her doe. So our winner today is Sarah Rowe. Congratulations, Sarah. We're going to give the girls a few minutes to get their animals back to the pens and to move their milk stanchions out of the ring. And then we will move on to our junior doe show. These will be the dry junior does under 1 year of age. Our first class will be Sarah with her Swiss doe. And then it'll be followed by our Swiss yearling does. Sadie has 3 in that class. In the ring now is our Swiss doe kid. This is a Saanen type doe, exhibited by Sarah Rowe.
Just a single entry here, and I think the young lady brings one that's really good in terms of femininity and refinedness. That one on the go reads very flexible and athletic, and I contribute that to her angle of her shoulder is smooth and relaxed and laid back. She's a long, correctly sloped, hipped goat. I think just has the build and the basic fundamentals of pattern to go around and move with some ease and some feminine attributes as well. Let's congratulate her for bringing a very well-built, very athletic goat here today.
Congratulations. Our first place is exhibited by Sarah Rowe. Our next class will be our Swiss yearling does. Sadie Estavillo has 3 entries. And Sarah, keep your doe close by, because after the yearling doe class, we will bring her back in to choose the best Swiss type doe. Sadie is showing an Alpine type doe as well as 2 Toggenburg type does. These are all Swiss breeds. They have the upright ears and a similar body style. And because our show is a little bit smaller than others, we combine these breeds together. But in an actual ADGA show, these would be showed as separate breeds.
I think there's a pair of goats in this class that are awful close, and I'd listen to conversation either way. For me, just how they happen to walk in, I think makes the most sense in terms of what I see today. I think the broody, really maternal, big-ribbed, and just productive-centered one is the young lady in the front of the line. I think that goat is really long and deep from flank to flank. She's high capacity, and yet she's really slender and long-necked and has some femininity. Now, I'll admit that I think the goat in second might be bigger in terms of her hip and the width to the set of her pin set, but for me, that one just is maybe a little narrower constructed in terms of at the ground, and it kind of shows up in terms of her body shape. She's a little flatter and plainer. That one is ultra cool looking and really feminine from front to back. You want to talk about one that's long and tall and extended and really, really pretty from the side, it's the goat in third. I think just comparatively today, that one is the flatter and the plainer one that's not as opened up and doesn't have the center body capacity as the two above it, but a nice trio of goats here. Let's congratulate these exhibitors.
Good job, Sadie, on your first, second, and third place does. Now we need our first place from our kid class back in the ring, Sarah with your Saanen. And then we need Sadie with your Alpine first place doe, and Sadie with your Toggenburg second place doe back in the ring to select our champion Swiss doeling.
We bring our class winners back out here, and I think the quality in both class winners is super high, and they're both good goats in their own regard. For me, just in terms of personal preference today, and maybe one that I think puts it together in terms of dairy quality, femininity, and some volume and capacity, I do acknowledge that there's obvious difference in terms of size and age, but just for the stage of where they're at in terms of age, I think the young ladies goat on the far right, the older division goat's the one I like the best. You'll be champion, younger will be reserved. Let's put our hands together and congratulate the exhibitors that wins those classes.
Congratulations, Sadie with our grand champion and Sarah with our reserve champion. All right, now we will move on to our Nubian kid class. Our Nubian doeling class, we have Sarah with 1 entry and Josie with 1 entry. I've had a request for some more goat jokes while we wait for the kids to bring their animals up. Why is it difficult to have a conversation with a goat? Because they are always butting in. Why are French goats better musicians than American goats? Because they are born with French horns. These are our Nubian type junior does. The Nubians are a very colorful breed, as you can see. They can come in any color you can think of. They also have the long floppy ears.
I think there's quite a bit of give and take between these two here. Just for the young lady on the far right that I go ahead and win the class with, I think that one is a little bigger and more genuine in her center rib. I think that one's just a shot rounder back through the center of her body and a little softer as well, with a notch more substance and natural width. Now, that's taking nothing away from the unique marked cool colored goat in second. I think that one is really thin-necked, really refined, tall, and elegant. For me, that one's just a little flatter and plainer in terms of its center body and a little more closed up in terms of capacity. With that being said, that's how I saw them today. Let's congratulate these exhibitors as they exit.
Attention in the barn. If you are exhibiting breeding sheep and breeding goats, you can get your back numbers at the fair office. I'm sorry, at the 4-H office. Okay, the winners in that last class was Sarah with first place and Josie with second place with their Nubian kids. Now in the ring is our mini doe kid, exhibited by Cooper Sanchez. The doe that you see now, she may look like a Nubian doe, but she is actually a mini Nubian doe, kind of a newer breed that combines the beautiful long ears of a Nubian with the smaller body type of the Nigerian dwarf.
In terms of how I see this one today, I think this one kind of puts the two together that we just saw in terms of one that's a feminine featured goat that's long and extended in terms of relation to her frame size. I think that one's really unique in terms of her body shape. I think she's round and bold to the through the center and down to the base of her rib. I think in terms of seeing this one a little older, she'll be a bigger, round-bodied goat that has plenty of capacity. Let's congratulate this exhibitor for bringing that one to us today.
Congratulations, Cooper, on your first place animal. You can stay in the ring because now we are going to select our best junior doe in show. We need Sadie with your yearling doe, your Alpine, and we need Sarah with your Nubian kid, and then of course Cooper with your mini Nubian. We will now be selecting our best junior doe in show. What music was played at the wedding of the owl and the goat? Apparently, they had a hootenanny. Why does a milking stool have only 3 legs? Because the goat has the udder.
we bring the two junior class winners back out here in terms of what we've seen so far, and thinking back in terms of how I taught them and how I saw them in class, I think that they're very, very similar in type and kind, and maybe have some minute differences, but just with that in mind and how I talked them and kind of how I seen them, for me it just makes the most sense. The mini on the front side, I think, just puts together everything that the two from the class before it had. We'll use the mini, and then reserve will be the goat on the left back behind it. Let's congratulate these exhibitors. We get the older one back out here with the young ones, and for me, it's just kind of logical. There's just one place to go, I think, that just makes the most sense, and I'm a fan of this goat, and I liked her in class. Young lady on the far right, you'll be the champion, and then reserve would be the mini, the young man's black goat. I like all three of them in here. Let's congratulate these exhibitors.
Congratulations, Sadie, on your best junior doe in show. Now we have a single entry for our buck show. We have a Nubian junior buck to bring in. Sarah, would you please bring your Nubian buck to the show ring?
Just a single entry, and the young lady brings us a buck kid, I think, that has the fundamental basics of what a buck should have in terms of some width and some substance and mass, but yet I think he's still really good built, and I think he balances up well. I think the young lady's got a really good project on her hands. Let's put our hands together and congratulate this single entry buck kid.
Congratulations, Sarah, on your champion buck kid. Our final class for the dairy today is going to be our dairy herd. Sarah, you have a dairy herd, and Sadie, you have a dairy herd. The dairy herd consists of 4 animals, all owned by the same exhibitor. We allow the exhibitors to bring in does, kids, or bucks. It can be any of the 3 for their dairy herd. One of the things that we look for in a dairy herd is consistency throughout. If we happen to have younger animals as well as older animals in the class, we might look for improvement to see if we've done a good job in our breeding program. So we'll wait a few minutes for the girls to round up their 4 animals for each dairy herd. Following our dairy herd competition, we will move into our utility goat competition, and we'll start that out with our utility goats 1 year and older. We have 2 entries, one from Sophie and one from Cooper.
we get the groups of them in here, and I think in terms of just similarity, types and kinds, I honestly think that's kind of a wash and a draw between the two different groups in here. I think the exhibitors have done a really good job of bringing 4 goats that are similar in types and kinds in retrospect to both these groups here. For me, just in terms of what I'll go with, there's just a group that maybe I'm a bigger fan of, or a couple of the individuals in this group I liked a little better throughout the day, so that just makes the most sense to me. Young lady on the far right, that'll be your champion, and then this group here on the left will be a reserve. Let's congratulate these exhibitors and breeders with a round of applause, please.
Congratulations, Sadie, on your first place dairy herd, and Sarah on your second place dairy herd. Thank you to all the exhibitors who brought in dairy animals today. We really appreciate your work. Now we will move into our utility goat show. We established the utility goat show for animals that are not dairy goats. They're for non-dairy animals. So this class should be for animals that are breeds such as Angoras and Cashmeres, the fiber animals. Pygmies can be in this class, as well as the kinder goats, the fainting goats, the animals that are not classically known as dairy animals, but they're also not known as meat animals. We have 2 entries in our first class: Sophie with 1 entry and Cooper with 1 entry.
We get into the utility deal, and there's a couple of goats in here that may have been in and out of the ring already, and I acknowledge that there's an obvious difference in terms of the information I've been given, and even how goats are presented and look today. There's an obvious difference in terms of age and maybe stage of the game both of these are, but just keeping in mind for me, just in my mind, the fundamentals of females in terms of ones that are big and soft and productive and yet still hold themselves together from the side and on the go. And for me, it's the young man's older white goat on the right that I'll go ahead and win with. I think she does that just a shot better. Now the young lady's younger goat that is here on the left side of things, I think that one's really tall and extended and high performing. For me, though, that one's just a little harsher in terms of her center body, and she's just not as deep and soft as productive as the class winner, but a nice pair of utility goats. Let's congratulate these exhibitors and breeders, please.
Congratulations, Cooper, on your first place utility animal, and Sophie on your second place animal. Our next class will be our pet goat competition. We have several entries in our pet goat: Addison Aldersey, Sadie Estavillo, Zane Elding, Reese Rico, Riley Edling, Jude Estavillo, and Sophie Anderson. Please bring your pet goats to ringside. So the pet goat competition has been established for the animals that don't fit in the other competitions. For example, a doe that did not freshen, so she's a dry doe, she should be in the pet goat competition. Or a wethers that cannot show in the buck show, they can be in the pet goat competition. Following our pet goat competition, we will have our dress-a-goat competition. Pet goats can be any breed. We see a Nigerian dwarf at the head of the line. We see a mini Nubian coming into second. We have a Nubian type wether following them. And then we have some Swiss breeds, an Alpine and a Toggenburg. And then at the end of the line, we have a La Mancha. Pet goats can be any breed, any color, any size, any shape.
in terms of the pet goat class. I think this deal could go any which way, and I think today, just in terms of maybe some criteria or just something that made the most sense to me in terms of my discretion, we're going to go ahead and the young man that wins for me today, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and when I asked all of them why they had their pet goats out here, a lot of the answers were very similar and all very good. And for me, I just go back to my roots, and for me, you know, in terms of raising livestock and whatnot, if I were to keep a pet around that could be in production and possibly look like they'd be making some money, I think the young man's goat for me just fits that bill the best. And then I think I took a quick trip down memory lane for the young man in second. I asked him why he had that one, and he said he was my first goat and he'll probably never go anywhere. Well, I'm victim to that. Dad and I started a sheep deal a long time ago and actually just lost the matriarch of our deal that hadn't had lambs for 4 years. She was 12 years old. I think that deal just kind of is the cool and interesting thing of that young man's bright future and just knowing where he started and where he's going. And that's taken nothing away from any of the others in terms of 3, 4, 5, and 6. All of them, I think, have really good attitudes in terms of why they're doing this and why they had this goat out here for a pet goat. That's just the criteria I used today, and that's what we'll go with. Let's congratulate these exhibitors for bringing in their pet goats and doing a good job.
Congratulations to all of our pet goat winners today. Jude Estavilo had the first place winner, Zane Edling with second place, Sadie Estavilo with third place, Riley Edling with fourth place, Addison Aldersay with fifth place, and Sophie Anderson with sixth place. Thank you for bringing all those pet goats into the ring today. Our next competition is the Dress-A-Goat competition. It's a costume contest, so we're going to give our exhibitors a few minutes to get their costumes ready for their goats and possibly for themselves as well. We have Reese Rico in this class, Addison Aldersay, Josie Rowe, and Sarah Rowe. I'd like to take a minute here to thank our judge again. Our judge's name is Dallin Brady. He's from the state of Idaho. He grew up in a small ag community centered around farming and livestock production. He went through the 4-H and FFA ranks when younger and attributes his personal successes, lifestyle, and career to those two programs. He and his family currently own and operate a club lamb operation in southern Idaho, where they utilize AI and ET work to progress the operation and able to make sheep that fit the needs of junior exhibitors and other breeders of today's industry. Dallin attended the livestock and livestock judged at Colby Community College in Northwest Kansas and received an associate's in animal science there. He then transferred to the University of Wyoming and received his bachelor's degree while being a member of the livestock and the wool judging teams. Currently, Dallin lives in Belfort, South Dakota, and serves as the assistant manager for Center of the Nation Wool. And now in the ring are our costume contest, our Dress-A-Goat contest. I am just guessing here, but it looks like we have a top hat goat. Maybe he's going dancing, I'm not sure. And then we have a butterfly, a little Saanen dressed as a butterfly. And I think we have a princess or maybe a ballerina.
You know, one thing about me is I've learned to be a big first impression type person and stick with my gut as I've gotten older and experienced some things. And for me, just in terms of what these kids have done and asking them, you know, the young lady on the right side, I asked her what her concept was behind that goat, and she laughed and smirked and says, "It's a dinner date." I think that one's a pretty good concept behind that. I think the custom fit to the hat that allows the horns to come through and everything, I think I told her that was legit and very well thought out. The young lady in the middle has a fairy, and I think, you know, in terms of her concept there and just the aura she gives off, I think she's got a bubbly personality, and I think that fits very well. Young lady on the left side, she said had a ballerina, and in terms of energy and between her and her goat, I think that pairs up very, very well. With that being said, just in terms of the one that I like the best today, I think this deal could go either way. For me, the one that just hit me the hardest coming in, because I thought to myself, that's well thought out and almost a perfect custom fit. Young lady's dinner date for me is going to be the one that wins. In terms of second, I like the ballerina and then the fairy. But with that being said, let's congratulate these kids for the effort they put into this deal today.
Well done. Thank you so much for bringing your animals to the Dress-A-Goat competition. Our first place winner is Addison. Our second place is Josie. And our third place is Sarah. Thank you. Now for our final competition of the day, one of the most exciting competitions that we've added to our show is our obstacle course. So we'll have the animals come to the ringside. We'll be running them one by one through our obstacle course. We'd like to begin our obstacles with Jude. Jude Estabilo, would you be our first runner in the obstacle course? And then we will follow Jude with Sadie. Now, in this obstacle course, it is not a timed event. We are looking for the kids to be able to take their animals through each of these obstacles and have the animals behaving themselves and being willing to follow their owner, showing trust in their owner to get through all of these obstacles. If the goats are unwilling to do any of the obstacles, it's okay to walk around them. We don't want any of the animals drugged through. We want it to be a building experience so that the animals learn trust with their owners. Do you want a clipboard for this?
Sure.
So for all of the exhibitors who are doing the obstacle course, if you have any questions, go ahead and come in without your animals and ask questions on the obstacle course. The judge would be more than happy to talk about what is required for each obstacle. So for the audience who are watching this, the kids are expected to lead their animals up onto the platform. Looks like the judge is going to explain it to them as they go. So they're going to lead their animals up onto the platform, and then they're going to jump these jumps, and then they have to go up and down the ramp, and they need to go under the smaller dog jump, and then they need to go over the teeter-totter, under the, what would you call that? The tunnel, yes, they go through the tunnel. And then we have some water in a pool on the far side, so they have to get all 4 feet, all 4 hooves into the water. And then they weave between the trees and the little bush. And then the final obstacle is a hula hoop, and they are expected to put the hula hoop over themselves as well as over their animal. And then that will be the end of the obstacle course. Our first exhibitor in our obstacle course today is Addison. Good job, Addison. Next in the ring, we have Riley. Well done, Riley. Next up, we have Zane. Well done, Zane. Next up will be Sarah. Well done, Sarah. Next up, we have Josie. Well done, Josie. Looks like that's all of our obstacle course competitors today. We will take a moment to tally the scores, and then we can bring everyone back in for the awards. All right, we have the scores totaled. Can you guys bring your animals back into the ring for the awards, please? Yeah, probably. That's all right. Oh, okay. Yeah, we got them. All right. So on our obstacle course, we have a winner. The total points possible was 90, 10 points per obstacle. And Riley is our first place winner. She received 88 points. Riley is first place. Second place goes to Zane with 87.5 points. Third place, there is a tie for third and fourth place. Josie and Sarah have tied for third and fourth place. And then fifth place goes to Addison with 78.5 points. Thank you, everyone, for working hard with your animals and training them over the obstacles and for bringing them to the show today.